In the year 1442, 1,000 boys from Transylvania were forced to be trained for the Turkish army. One of them grew up to be feared and called Vlad, the Impaler. Haunted by his monstrous deeds, Vlad returned to Transylvania to rule in peace. By a stream near Transylvania, a Roman named Scelgium finds a discarded Turkish helmet. Vlad, the prince of Wallachia and Transylvania, notices that it is a scout's helmet, leading him to believe that the Turks intend to invade them. As the helmet was found upstream, Vlad concludes that it came from the Toothbreaker Mountain, across the way. He orders his men to prepare for battle as he searches the Turkish camp for negotiations. Vlad takes 2 men to the mountain and looks for any signs of the Turks. Bats emerge from a cave, and Vlad deduces that they have been disturbed, so he enters to investigate. Inside the cave, they find old armor and crushed bones covering the floor. Something in the darkness consumes one of his men and suddenly pulls him into the shadows. Vlad and his other soldier run, but the beast in the shadows takes his soldier. Vlad strikes the beast but is thrown back. He crawls out of the cave and reaches the sunlight. The monster halts, then retreats, as its blood on Vlad's sword evaporates in the sunlight. In Dracula's castle, Vlad consults his brother Lucian about the creature. Lucian recounts the vampire's story. A man who summoned the demon for power, the demon granted his wish, but condemned him to dwell in darkness for all eternity. Vlad then visits his wife Myrina and his son Ingeras. They greet him warmly, but Myrina notices that something is troubling him. In their room, Myrina asks what attacked Vlad, and he says it was wolves. He laments his men and then recounts how he was sent to war when young. He wishes never to fight again, then Myrina reminds him that he is not safe at home. The next day, their Easter banquet is interrupted when the Ottoman general Hamza Bey arrives. Vlad offers a chest of silver coins as tribute to the Sultan, but Hamza Bey accuses him of murdering his scouts. Vlad denies this and then asks him to accept the tribute and leave. However, Hamza Bey jovially announces that the Sultan demands 1,000 boys to serve in his army. The townspeople protest, but Hamza Bey continues to recruit the young for his army. When a father pleads with a Turkish soldier not to take his son, the soldier pulls out his blade to cut his hand. Then Vlad pushes the soldier against the wall. Hamza Bey reminds Vlad that he has no army and thus has no choice but to obey. He then gathers his men and departs with the tribute. Vlad's advisor, Kazan, presses him to do whatever is necessary to protect his people. That night, Vlad admits to Ingeras that his father gave him as a royal hostage to prove his loyalty to the Sultan but promises Ingeras that there is nothing to worry about. Still, when alone with his wife, Vlad fears that hundreds will die if he tries to spare the boys. Myrina notes that Vlad and the Sultan were like brothers, so she advises him to ask for mercy. The next day, Vlad visits the Sultan and Mehmed II. The two drink while reminiscing about their younger days. Mehmed admits that his father was cruel but praises Vlad for adapting to his culture. He then inquires about the boys he demanded, insisting he needs the soldiers. Vlad offers to spare the boys, but Mehmed refuses. He also demands that Vlad raise Ingeras, just as Vlad was raised in his palace. He assures Vlad that he will keep his throne, but Mehmed's general will oversee him. Vlad pleads that he reconsider, but Mehmed simply advises him to have more children. Soon, Vlad finds his family in a clearing to deliver his son to the Turks. Myrina reproaches her husband, reminding him of his promise to protect their children before marrying him. However, Kazan emphasizes that if they defy, they will have war. Seeing the soldiers advance, Vlad approaches them but drops his weapon to not antagonize them. Noticing his father's actions, Ingeras offers to go, promising he will survive just as he did. Vlad holds his son's hands as he hands him over to Hamza Bey. Hamza Bey implies that he had hoped Vlad would resist more, making Vlad realize what he is giving up. Vlad whispers to Ingeras to run back to his mother. As soon as Ingeras runs, Vlad in a quick movement, takes Hamza Bey's sword and kills him, doing what any father who loves his son would do. Myrina protects her son while Vlad battles the Turkish soldiers alone. He easily slays the men but knows more will come. Kazan reprimands the prince, but Vlad insists that a child should not be sacrificed for his country. He orders his family to be protected in the castle while he heads alone to Toothbreaker Mountain. Vlad climbs the dark mountain and enters the cave. the vampire greets him, but Vlad does not see him. The vampire speaks that no one has ever returned to him, and Vlad adds that no one has ever escaped, given the countless human bones in the cave. The vampire extinguishes his torch, causing Vlad to strike at nothing with his sword. Finally, the vampire appears before him and throws the sword away. The creature observes him, sensing hope in him instead of fear. He then tells Vlad to hide a silver ring, as it offends him. Vlad shares that the Turks threaten his kingdom, so he wishes for the vampire's power to save his people and family. The vampire sarcastically dismisses him but reveals that he knows who Vlad is, calling him the son of the devil. Vlad corrects him, saying that his surname, Dracula, means the dragon, not the devil. Still, the vampire provokes him about his bloody past and then presses him against the wall. He asks what Vlad felt when impaling thousands of men, and Vlad admits he felt nothing. He justifies that he became a monster to instill fear, which satisfies the Turks and prevents them from taking more lives. The vampire wounds Vlad's neck and licks the blood. He tells Vlad that he does not know what it is to be a monster, but he will show him. The vampire recounts that the one who transformed him condemned him in the cave, but Vlad will be his salvation. The vampire bites his arm and drips blood into a skull. He instructs Vlad to drink his blood, promising him great power if he does, but his thirst for human blood will be insatiable. If he can resist drinking for 3 days, he will become mortal again. If he fails, he will fully transform, and the vampire will gain his freedom, take his revenge, and have Vlad as his pawn. Despite this, desperation forces Vlad to drink the blood. The vampire retreats as Vlad's body disintegrates. Vlad wakes in the stream and finds his skin burning with his silver ring. He removes it and tries to stand, but a stone crumbles when he grabs it, injuring his hand, but it heals instantly. He hears the small sounds of spiders and distant animals and sees the heat of every living creature in the forest. Vlad then seeks his ring back and puts it on a cord to wear as a necklace. Suddenly, he hears explosions in the distance, so he runs at full speed. He transforms into multiple bats before returning to his form. He uses this to reach the castle faster. When he arrives, he finds his kingdom under attack. He reunites with his family and addresses the frightened townspeople. He tells them that a good prince would have delivered his children to keep the peace, but he swears that he will not be defeated. Cannons break down the castle walls, but Vlad faces the army alone. The soldiers advance, and he runs toward them, showing his fangs. Vlad fights alone against the army, eliminating the soldiers with unimaginable and unstoppable strength, to protect the one he loves. He grabs their weapons and cuts down his enemies, facing hundreds of them alone. Soon, the battlefield is empty, except for Vlad and the bodies. His soldiers arrive, but find no more battle to fight. Vlad tells his men not to question what he did but to trust that he intends to keep them safe. However, he knows more armies will come, so he urges his people to move to the Kozha monastery in the mountains. On the way, they set up camp, and Vlad is tempted as he sees his men eating. He retreats to the tent where Myrina awaits him. The couple kisses and begins to engage intimately, but Vlad is tempted by her blood. He pulls away and leaves. He finds Skelgium following him in the forest, but Skelgium defends that he is following the bats instead of him. He wields a knife, knowing Vlad has been transformed, but instead of attacking him, Skelgium cuts his own hand, offering blood and asking to be Vlad's servant. Vlad pushes the chalice of blood away and warns Skelgium to stay away from him. The next day, Mehmed arrives at the battlefield and sees the soldiers impaled on spears.